Hello, my name is Brenden Mellon. This is my senior project for Bowie State Music Tech Program, and today my project will be the versatility of FL Studio 20. Let's go ahead and get started. So, early on, I was first introduced to music in first grade at a school called Cape Henry Collegiate School. It's in Virginia Beach. That's where I spent a lot of my early years, spent like 10 years in Virginia. My mom and my older brother was playing like a lot of music in the house, and I just heard it, of course, just being in the house. So that's how I really got introduced to music, and it was good music. So I liked it, and I thought, taking piano classes was cool. So in first grade, I did take piano classes, and I would start playing at home. I had a piano in the house. I would go to school and take piano lessons and things like that. So that's when I started to getting into music really. And the most of the music that my brother played was like hip hop and like rap and stuff, a little bit of R&B, but hip hop and rap mainly stuff I really heard on the radio. My mom would play like jazz and soul and like R&B and things of that nature. So I got like a lot of different genres early on. So moving to middle school, I went to Riverdale Baptist School. This was in Maryland. I had moved to Maryland. Um, so yeah, during my time, middle school is sixth to eighth grade. Riverdale's all around school though, but yeah. Um, I was taking piano lessons. I continued to take piano lessons, but by the time I got to middle school, it was off and on. Just different reasons. Mainly, I just thought like lessons were boring. I like piano though. I like playing piano, but the lessons were kind of boring. So that's when I actually stopped just taking piano lessons in eighth grade. Um, but I did keep playing the piano like in my home. I would go to YouTube and learn how to play different songs like Alicia Keys and Mariah Carey, Beyonce, whoever, really, whoever I heard in the house and stuff. I'll continue to play, but eighth grade, that's when I actually got into sports. I ran track. This was the first time I did a sport. So I started kind of like venturing out, doing some other things as well. But I was still like, I'm getting older, so I'm like a huge music fan. Like I'm listening to music on my iPod or whatever it was at the time, CDs all the time. And mainly the genres I was listening to was like hip hop, rap, and R&B. I did like some other genres and stuff, and other music my mom was playing. She'd play like I said, Mariah Carey. She'd play like Aretha Franklin and Jill Scott and Pat Metheny and stuff. And I liked all of it, but mainly because of my older brother. He's 5 years older than me. I was listening to like rap and hip hop and stuff. Lil Wayne and Ti, Young Jeezy, and everybody else. So moving on to high school, this is still Riverdale Baptist. I graduated high school in 2015, Riverdale in 2015. So I went there all 4 years. I was still playing piano at home. I was still on YouTube, learning how to play piano. Kind of like self-taught, I should say, but it's not really like lessons. It was just learning just to perform. Really, I just like playing, like I said before. I ran track again. I did indoor and outdoor track, but I stopped doing that because I was like, it was for fun. Like I didn't want to be like an Olympian, track runner or anything. So once it started, like I wanted to focus more on like school and things like that, and it was like senior year. I think that's when I ultimately stopped because I was about to go to college and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, like I'm not gonna keep doing that. It was fun though. So yeah, but again, I'm getting older. I'm still listening to music like every day. So by this time, I'm starting to listen to music like critically, actually. I'm starting to pay attention to things. Although during that time, like 16, 17, whatever, I didn't know I was listening to music like critically, but I was paying attention to a lot of different things that, us musicians pay attention to now. Um, yeah, most of the things, well, not most of the things, but the main thing I paid attention to was the instrumentals. I always kind of gravitated more to like the sound of the song, like the instruments and things, like the beat more than the vocals or the lyrics. And during this time, I fell in love with two producers. One was Lex Luger, and the main one was Metro Boomin. They are two super influential producers, mainly in like the hip hop, trap genre. Actually, this is kind of when trap really was getting solidified in like the music industry and our culture and everything. So I started to, most music I was listening to then, it was like produced by Metro or Lex Luger. And here is an example of a Metro Boomin beat. Yeah, you guys get it? So yeah, that's Metro Boomin. That's one of his beats. He normally has like the same type of style, but he still influences me to this day. Okay, so like I said, I graduated high school 2015. I did go to two colleges. I went to University of Maryland Eastern Shore, UMES. At first, I majored in hospitality management. I wasn't really, you know, doing like piano lessons or anything. I didn't have like a piano I could play in my dorm or anything like that. But I did get a keyboard to make beats. I'm gonna get into that. And then went to Bowie State, of course, mainly because it was closer to home and they had a program and it was another HBCU. But yeah, we'll get into that. So, my first semester at UMES, I realized that hospitality management wasn't really like something I wanted to do. When I went to Riverdale in high school, UMES had accepted me on the spot, and my mom was like, that's good. They have this hospitality management program. I didn't know what it was at the time, so she told me about it. And it was like, yeah, it's a growing industry, and she was like, I have the perfect personality for it, and I agreed. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to UMES. I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I it's cool. I like it. As like an industry, I think it's important, really, but that is not something that I wanted to do. So by this time, like I had to think what I liked and who I am and things like that. And after thinking, I thought sociology might be something that would be good for me because like I really like people, like I like the science of like people and things like that. Excuse me. So yeah, but after doing research and stuff of sociology jobs and things after college, I was probably gonna have to go to grad school, and I'm not really that big of a fan of school in general. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not really trying to go to school after I graduate. So I was kind of just trying to be done, and that's it. So yeah, I switched majors again, and that time I switched majors. I didn't really want to go to UMS anymore. It was like 2 hours away from Bowie, and which isn't really bad at all. But it's like it's cool to get away from home, but I wanted to be closer. Like I wanted to be close to home, really. And I was living in PG County at the time, so back home was PG County. So I decided to leave UMES, started looking for another school, really. And Bowie State ultimately was the one I wanted to go to because, like I said, it was closer to home. I looked at a couple colleges in Baltimore, but I just wanted to be in PG. And I ended up actually switching to business management because I already switched, majors 2 times at this time. I kind of feel a little pressure. Some credits not transferring. I know I'm gonna have to be in college a little longer. So I'm like, look, that's a basic, thing that I could do, like be a business owner. That's, everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. So yeah, I was like, who wouldn't want to do business? And while I was there, my mom bought me a Kai MIDI keyboard. It was a 49 key keyboard. And this is the time where I actually started to like make arrangements. And keep in mind, all this time I'm still listening to music. If you guys didn't notice the trend, like I'm a big music fan. So after listening to like Metro and stuff, like Metro and Lex Luger really like influenced me. Like, dang, like those beats are cool. Like I wanna do that. Like that seems fun. So I'm like, all right. My mom got me a Kai keyboard, like $100 off of Amazon. I downloaded Fruity Loops FL Studio. I started playing around and just having fun. And I was a business major at the time, but then like it hit me like it was like a light bulb went above my head. Like the cartoons, like somebody actually told me at Bowie. I told him I was like, yeah, I make beats and stuff, whatever. Like I just started, and it was like, oh, you should major in music technology, and I'm like, what? Music technology? I said Bowie has that, and yeah, I was like, all this time I'm at school, I'm going to different colleges, I'm switching majors. I'm like, I love music and I like making beats. Like, why don't I just, do that? You feel me? So I majored in music technology at Bowie, and I was like, that's the last time. Like, this is what I want to do. So growing up, I never thought like having a career like in music was like a real thing. Like I'd see musicians and producers and stuff like Timbaland and Pharrell, and I'm like, oh yeah, like these guys are like legends. But I'm like, you know, oh well, I never thought like, oh yeah, I should go down that path. So yeah, so I mean that's really what happened. So at Bowie, that's what I really focused on. I took different classes, music business. I really loved that class. Arranging, keyboarding, theory, sequencing, and I've just listened to so much music, and after being influenced, like I said, like I'm like I'm gonna be a producer, like that's gonna be my career. So I had the keyboard, I had the software. I just kept playing. I kept making arrangements like daily, daily. I'm watching YouTube, like staying up till 4 a.m. just learning. I'm watching the same videos over and over because Bowie was teaching me the things, but I also wanted to learn on my own because I think I could, grow better, and it's cool to have different point of views. And yeah, like everything I learned in school, it basically confirmed what I had learned like online, like from YouTube and things like that. But what Bowie did teach me the most was music theory and music business. There's a lot of information out like on the internet and books and things like that, but if you don't have anybody to really guide you or like tell you where to get it, it's just you're just not gonna get it. And then unfortunately, like a lot of people get um, mistreated because they don't have the knowledge, and that's specifically music business. So like I really love that. That was really helpful. And music theory, because just playing around, I took piano off and on and things like that when I was a kid, but by that time I forgot. And making arrangements it's a little easier when you know music theory. You kind of have those tools in your pocket to get ideas out a little quicker. And so that those really really blessed me, and I'm thankful Bowie really enforces those classes and things. And yeah, I started out with FL Studio when I was just playing around when I first got my keyboard. But while I'm at Bowie State, I have professors teaching me about Reason, Logic, and Pro Tools, and doing different assignments and working with those. And I knew the basics of FL. Like I said, I was making beats like every day. But it's cool to go into a different program because it's not the same. Kind of takes you out your comfort zone. But after working in those things, I'm like, yeah, FL Studio really is kind of like the easiest for me, and I was already really familiar with it. But Pro Tools, I do record and track when I'm working with clients, when I'm working with artists, but only sequencing in FL Studio. That's really my main focus. I don't really make like beats or anything, arrangements in Pro Tools. So, to get to the meat bones of my project, I'm talking about FL Studio because this is what I ended up getting attracted to. Really, this is what I stuck with. This is what I'm going to be using. This is what I do use to make music, to make money. It's a really important part of my life. So the main things I want to go over that's really important is the playlist, the channel rack / step sequencer, piano roll, and mixer. This is why I kind of chose FL Studio instead of Reason and Logic, really, after learning about them. Because FL Studio is just really versatile. It has these things. So first, the browser. So I outlined it. It has the blue points and the lines on the left side of the screen. This is FL Studio. This is the main screen, basically. So the left is the browser. I like this in FL. It's right there on the left side. It's right in your workspace. It's easy to see. This is where you could do a multiple number of things. You could choose like your plugins, whether it's like an instrument or something like that. You can get your kits, your sounds, just drag them and just use them. So say like if you want to use like a sound like a kick and like a clap or drums or something, you can just open the folder in the browser, click on it, just go through it, and then preview it and select whichever one you want to use, and you could just drag that and use that for your project. Really not much to say. It's super easy. That's really important. You need that. Definitely need that. Back to the channel rack, you can see on the sound 808, it has like those little green lines, and it looks a little different from all the other sounds. That's because I use the 808 in the piano roll. And then so this is it. So you click on different notes, you can make chords and things. It's really like playing the piano. Like if you have a keyboard, you could do it on the keyboard, press record, and then it'll input the notes inside of the piano roll, or you could click it in, whichever one. You can control different things. Like you can see here in the screenshot that I have, that control is velocity. They're pretty much the same, but they're not like exactly. It's the little green lines. Yeah, that's the piano roll. At the top, it shows you the instrument I use. I use the flute. Yeah, that's it. You just do notes. Playlist. This is really where the magic happens. This is where you arrange. So all of the sounds that you saw in the channel rack are now on the playlist. I use this to arrange. So I have some audio samples. That's what the little weird little things is, wavelength. That's what it's called. But I have those little weird things, and then each little gray block is, well, the dark gray blocks are the sounds that I use. So if you can see, it's the 808 and the kick and the clap and the hi hat and everything like that. The little gray spaces are just bars or measures. It's just how you time the music and things like that. This is really where the arranging comes in. The channel rack is really, well, sequencer, same thing. That's really where you like kind of make the beat, I should say. Like you kind of get the basis of it, but it's just all gonna play everything at once. So the playlist is where you arrange it. So now it's like a song. Like, okay, I want the piano to come in first, and then in the second part or whatever, second measure, I want the piano and guitar and the kick or whatever. Like that's really where you arrange, and that's where the writing actually comes in. And that's basically how you like make something in FL Studio. But of course, you're not done, because what if it doesn't sound good? This is what the mixer is for. So the mixer is, you route all your sounds. You can see I'm using the same sounds: 808, kick, clap, everything. This is just where you make sure everything is balanced, as in like levels. You don't want like the kick extremely too loud, or whatever, piano too loud. You want everything to sound like it's glued together, like it's natural. You make things sound good. That's really what the mixer is for. You know, Nobody likes bad sounding music, so yeah. That's really the five main things in FL Studio that I really use every day. That's what I love more than like Logic and Reason. It's just extremely versatile. These things really make your workflow super easy. And once you get familiar with it, I think you'll love it. Everybody who uses FL Studio, they really use these things, and that's what it's really known for. This is this is the audio. So everything I just showed you was in a project. I called it Head in the Clouds. It's a Brenden Mellon arrangement, and I want to play this for you guys. So here you go. Yeah, hope you guys like it. It's a hip hop like trap feel, but like kind of feels good. It's not too dark. Yeah, that's it. That's what I did. So moving forward, like I said before, my goal is to be a full-time producer that specializes in hip hop slash rap and R&B. I want to be one of those guys. I do have a beat website if people want to purchase beats or just listen, recreationally. It is produced prod .brendanross.com. And later on, once I get a little more established, I want to actually own the studio. People can come record, and producers can come in and make music and things like that. I think the more studios we have around, like the better, so people can have access to different equipment and things. Even though nowadays you can do it at home, but I think that studio space is really, still important. And I want to call it like Brenden Sounds. I just want to use my name, you know, when I make a name for myself. And that's really that. So here's my contact info. You can reach me by phone, email. My phone is 301-395-0433. Email is prod.brendanross@gmail for any, you know, inquiries regarding beats or recording anything. I'm on social media. My Instagram and Twitter is BrennanRoss_. My website is prod.brendanross.beatstars. Again, you can go on there and, you know, check out my beats and things like that. You can purchase them. And I just want to thank everybody for watching and listening and being here with me. I appreciate it. Thank you.